Sunday Morning Matters on KC24, your local election headquarters.
Elizabeth Heng ready to produce more fireworks across the political airwaves. Is it over the top, though, or just what the Republican Party is doctoring up? Let's bring in our panel for the week. Time for roll call. News director, managing editor of GV Wire, also I should say author as well, Bill McEwen. The host of his own show on Talk Radio 1680 KGED, Guillermo Moreno. And marketing and communications director, Nazreen Johnson. Welcome all. You know, Bill, I know you're a history buff. Give me the historical reference. Christine Pelosi, you heard her historical reference to socialism versus what Elizabeth Heng just mentioned. What is it in your eyes?
Well, I'll say this. The ad's provocative. I disagree with Christine Pelosi that she said it should never aired, that kind of thing. I'm going to err on the side of free speech all the time because I think that people put provocative ideas out there leads to a lot of conversation, and we're talking about it right now. As far as historic context, I think it's way off the mark, and the reason why is the United States has government. And it has the best government in the world. We're ruled by the Constitution, and we can debate whether we're going to go left or right.
Who's off the mark?
Well, Elizabeth is. To me,
Okay.
it's a ridiculous assertion that the kind of European-style socialism that Bernie Sanders talks about could result with what happened in the killing fields.
Guillermo, I'll come to you.
We have all kinds of protections against that.
Yeah. Guillermo, is this the right message for the Republican Party?
Well, I think it is. I think it's kind of funny how the most shocking thing from that 2-hour debate was this ad and not the Democrats talking about you're going to die because of the air and climate change, or you're going to die because you're going to lose your health care, or you're going to die because someone's going to shoot you. So it's kind of funny how we're still talking about this when the Democrats had 2 hours of just fear-mongering throughout the entire debate. So.
Nazreen, I want you to weigh in on this because obviously you heard what Elizabeth Heng has said. She's got more political ads on the way. Is this dangerous for the Republican Party to go down this route? Could it hurt, you think, President Trump in the long run if other Republican senators, congressmen, as 2020 approaches, latch onto this?
Well, I just think it incites the violence, like she mentioned. I don't think it's appropriate to be burning.
You mean that Pelosi mentioned?
No, that Elizabeth, she mentioned, she talked about inciting violence and what incites violence. And I believe that ads like hers, where you show, burning photos of elected leaders, that can incite violence. There's been an uptick of hate crimes in our country. And I think that's what, when I see ads like that, that's what I'm concerned about. More
to come. Bill, when you hear Elizabeth, she's smiling. She knows she hit a nerve here. More to come. What could possibly happen now?
Oh, you mean you want me to predict your next ads?
No, we're into the game of predictions.
No,
I'll do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe an immigration ad. Maybe you get a Latino Republican. Maybe you talk about something else where you have a black Republican. I mean, the reality is, and I'll give it to the Dems. The Dems have a bench, and it's always deep, local, state, whatever. The Republicans, we don't have that bench. So the fact that this is a new faces GOP, I mean, we need new faces, and we need the world to see, like, hey, there's conservatives that are Latino. There's conservatives that are black. There's conservatives that are Asian. So,
Bill, you buying that?
No, I buy that absolutely. I guess if I were a Republican, what I would be weighing is the traditional debate that's been going on for a long time. Do we stick to the right, maybe even go more for a right, or do we return more towards the middle? And we see this play out in California, every time the California Republican Party has a convention.
Well, I want to move on to this. Christine Pelosi made 2 predictions. One, a woman will be on both the Democratic and Republican presidential tickets. We may have figured that one out for the Democratic side, but are we really buying a prediction that Mike Pence, the VP, will be fired? Nazreen, how do you like this prediction that President Trump, now we know that he's not normal when it comes to politics, You see him doing this?
Well, he does seem to have a great turnover in his administration. So while it wouldn't be a surprise, it wouldn't sway me over to his party just because he has a different gendered VP.
Guillermo, do you think it would be a good move to fire the VP?
Well, I'm not buying what she said, but would it be a good move? You know, it depends. You know, the election's a long way away. If you listen to my show, I don't necessarily, you know, he's not charismatic. You know, come on, it's Mike Pence. He doesn't excite anybody. He gets up to the podium, and it's just kind of like, hey, so Would I like to see someone else? I mean, if the president ditched him, which is not going to happen, I'd be like, yeah, why not?
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. No.
Bill.
So where I'll go with this is Donald Trump and his campaign were the masters of analyzing all the numbers and all the information out there that helped win the presidency. Today, they're going over all the data constantly. President Trump will do what that data tells him that he has to do to win re-election. And so,
who would
we
be
can't
on
possibly.
the short list?
Nikki Haley.
But she's already said that she didn't want to do that.
Oh, when you're come on, when you're asked
Yeah.
a chance to be vice president.
Can I come up with a name myself? Nazarene, you might want to weigh in on this. It's probably the most ridiculous thing, but we were talking about this in the newsroom. Ivanka Trump.
Yeah, you say that.
You knew I was going to say that?
Yeah, no, you know, she's a little more moderate left. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen?
happen.
Nazarene, am I totally crazy?
You know, I feel like it's not outside of the realm. I think that he's been placing her into positions that normally you wouldn't put an elected leader's child into, even adult child into, and so it's not, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Ivanka is part
Your
of this
jaw would
ticket.
not drop. 1 second.
Not at all.
Bill, I know yours would.
No, we're beyond jaw-dropping when it comes to President Trump. Let's get
Okay,
real.
well.
But I do want to say this. Mike Pence was very important in greasing the skids and providing the link to the evangelical community. And so I think what Christine Pelosi is doing is kind of scattershooting here, and she's looking at the polling and saying Trump, there's a gap there, an enthusiasm gap, there's a support gap with women, so he's going to anoint a woman, but you really have to think about how important the evangelical base is to President Trump.
All right, I got to end it there. We're going to have a lot more from the panel here coming up. But up next, Governor Newsom makes it official. AB 5 now a California law. What this means for Lyft and Uber drivers and why one Valley lawmaker says the governor will now have a major court battle on his hands.